Well, 4 continents, 14 countries and 17 incredible Grand Prix later, we've arrived here at the Ricardo Tormo circuit in Valencia for the final Grand Prix of the 2017 Motogp World Championship. One Premier Class world title still to be decided, but only one man will be crowned by the end of this weekend. Hello and good afternoon to you from myself, Amy Dargan, and standing alongside me, Matt. But it's been an incredible season, Matt. I can't believe it's coming to an end. We've got two, well, they couldn't be any more worthy title contenders. I'm not really sure if I'm happy or sad that this is coming to a close.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, Amy, as you say, another absolutely unforgettable season this year. I think it's fitting that we do get a final round showdown between the two best men of this 2017 World Championship, Marc Marquez and Andrea Dovizioso, have slugged it out throughout this season. They have been by far the best riders, the fastest riders, the most consistent riders. So it's great that we're going to see a final showdown duel between the pair of them here in Valencia on Sunday.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll run you through who's coming up in the press conference shortly. So today we have our two title contenders, Marc Marquez, Andrea Dovizioso. Valentino Rossi will also be joining the press conference today, as will Dani Pedrosa, Johann Zarco and Jorge Lorenzo. We also have not one but two guests joining us today. Shortly we should be joined by Davide Tardozzi, Ducati's team manager, and then a little bit later on we should also be getting our Honda side of things from Livio Supo, Repsol Honda's team principal. But Matt, firstly, to kick things off, we've just mentioned there our two title contenders. Obviously they are the main talking point this weekend, but obviously going back in history gone by, this is a very rare occasion. There's only been three previous times when there has been a points deficit overturned in a final race showdown. Can Andrea Dovizioso do it? Mathematically, everything looks as though it's in Marc Marquez's garden. It
does. I hate to nick a famous phrase of my co-commentator Nick Harris, but never say never. But you're absolutely right, Amy. Andrea Dovizioso and Ducati have got a mountain to climb this weekend. They are still fighting for the championship, that fantastic win in Malaysia a couple of weeks ago, but 21 points. There's so much has got to go their way this weekend. The maths are absolutely simple. If Andrea Dovizioso does not win here at the Ricardo Tormo circuit on Sunday, it's game over. Marc Marquez will be world champion. If Dovizioso does win for the 7th time here this weekend, and you wouldn't put it past him, it's been a great year for Ducati and Andrea, then he's going to have to rely on Marc Marquez finishing outside the top 10, lower than 11th place. So it's highly unlikely, you have to say, but you can never say never. It's going to be fascinating, intriguing, but it's a massive, massive task for Andrea to overturn such a big points deficit. 21 points. Nobody has ever done that before in MotoGP history. So if he's going to have to do it, he's going to have to create history and break some records this weekend.
Well, if we go back over the pair of their results, obviously they've both got 6 Grand Prix wins apiece, but Marc Marquez has 3 DNFs, which is why we keep saying never say never. 2006, that famous race with Valentino Rossi and Nicky Hayden, anything can happen out there.
And everybody came in. I remember being here, 11 years ago now. I mean, Valentino Rossi and Nicky Hayden fighting out for the World Championship. Everybody would have put their mortgage, their life savings on Valentino Rossi winning the championship that year. We all know what happened. Valentino Rossi crashing at that second corner. Nicky Hayden, those fantastic, unforgettable, emotional scenes for Nicky when he was crowned the world champion, the fulfillment of a lifelong ambition for him. So yeah, it can be done, but 21 points is a big ask. Andrea's got to win the race. Marc Marquez, we know, loves Valencia. Andrea Dovizioso has got a pretty, he won't thank me for reminding him this, a pretty dreadful record here. He's only scored 1 podium finish in his MotoGP career. He's raced here 4 times previously for Ducati, and has only finished inside the top 6 once. Marc's been in this kind of pressure cooker situation before. He came to Valencia in 2010 and won the 125cc World Championship at the last race. He did it, of course, here in 2013. Rode to a pretty steady 4th place when he was fighting for the title with Jorge Lorenzo. So Marc's been in this situation before, and he will know he's got that buffer, that comfort zone. But we do know the way Marc rides, he will always give you a chance. So yeah, it is not over until we see the checkered flag on Sunday.
Going back to what we were just talking about a moment ago, they both have 6 Grand Prix victories each. Marc has more podiums, but just from the entertainment value, I mean, both of them, the duels between the pair of them, they've just given us so much this year. Is either one of them more of a worthy title?
You know, it has been amazing. I mean, you look back to Austria, certainly the Red Bull Ring, that unbelievable last corner that they had between the two, and that was repeated, of course, not too long ago in those pouring rain conditions at the Twin Ring Motogp in Japan. The interesting thing about both was that in a last lap showdown, Mark was beaten up. You know, he made mistakes that cost him the victory. I mean, normally Mark is so mentally bulletproof in those kind of situations. Andrea Dovizioso has got the better of him a couple of times this year, and that will be certainly playing on Andrea's mind, or on Mark's mind. But of course, if it comes down to another last lap showdown between the two of them, it'll be immaterial, because you know, Andrea will need to win and hope that Mark doesn't finish the race. But as we said at the start of the show, Amy, they've been head and shoulders the best two riders, the fastest and the most consistent. You cannot meet two more different guys, can you? I mean, Andrea Dovizioso, Ducati quite rightfully call him the professor, because he's the thinking man's rider. He's very methodical. He's got a very analytical approach.
Although he tried to go against that this year.
Yeah,
he said that he was working more on his mentality.
He's let a little bit more improvisation come into his riding. He's not tried to overthink it as much. And then you've got the complete flip side of the coin with Marc Marquez, who we know he only knows one way to ride, and that is absolutely on the limit, absolutely on the ragged edge. That's why we love watching Mark throughout his MotoGP career. Both of them will be well-worthy world champions, both thoroughly deserving world champions. It's a shame, really, that one of them has got to lose, because they're both nice guys. They both bring so much to this sport. They both bring so much to the championship, but unfortunately, only one man can win.
The other thing that's been really lovely to watch this year, not often we say it because we all love a bit of a doozy, to borrow one of Jack Miller's phrases. We like to see a bit of rivalry there, but it's almost been very much a gentleman's competition. Even last week in Malaysia, you saw Marc Marquez go over to Andrea Dovizioso and give him a handshake. It's been a not friendly competition, because I wouldn't say any of our competitions are very particularly friendly, but there's been a real nice atmosphere around the whole thing. Yeah,
when you look at sort of past championship battles, there's been a fair amount of animosity has crept in. That comes when you're fighting for the biggest prize in world motorcycling. You know, these guys have worked all their lives to get into the situation that they find themselves in on Sunday. You know, Andrea Dovizioso has spent 30 years getting to this point. Marc Marquez has been the MotoGP world champion before, but he wants to carry on creating records and history. You know, he wants to win another MotoGP World Championship. As we said, the two of them are really chalk and cheese, but they've been able to keep their rivalry pretty cordial all the way throughout. It's hard, isn't it, really, to not like Andrea Dovizioso. He's such a popular guy in the paddock. He's always got time to say hello. I think, you know, of course, nobody has really got any preferences, but Andrea Dovizioso would be an incredibly popular MotoGP World Champion, as Mark would be as well. They're both great ambassadors for the sport. So, yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see how it all pans out on Sunday.
Well, you might have noticed him creeping in the back of our picture, but we have been, I'm delighted to say, joined now by Davide Tardozzi. Davide, if you'd like to come and join myself and Matt, because we can't wait to speak to you, as I'm sure quite a few others have. Davide, it's been an incredible year for both Ducati and Andrea Dovizioso. Already, I mean, put this Grand Prix weekend aside, already achieving so much, but has there been a particular moment that has stood out to you or to the team?
For sure, it's been an incredible team. Nobody of us, Andrea too, think that we can be in Valencia fighting for the championship. Obviously, in our program, we said already in the beginning of the year that we need to win more races than the year before, and being here to fight for the first 3 positions in the championship. But honestly, fighting for the championship in the last race was something that we dream, not we thought.
Davide, I think you coined the phrase this year. You called Andrea Dovizioso the professor, which I think is just about the perfect title for him. I mean, what has impressed you most about the way that Andrea has approached this year's World Championship?
I guess that what he shows already during the winter, his daily approach to the work, it was changed. Then that's why even in January, when we present the team, I said that Andrea was going to do his best season in MotoGP, because I see him from Sepang last year, and during the winter approaching really in a different way his work, more convinced, because Andrea, he'd been always fast, never convinced about his talent. Now he is. And as he said a few minutes ago with some journalists, now he knows that he can beat Marc Marquez. Before, I don't think so. So now he's convinced that he can fight for the championship for each race. And so far, I have to say that it's been more a Ducati problem this year that a Dovizioso problem, because unluckily we've been not so competitive in few tracks as a bike, I mean. And this, I guess, that was a problem for Andrea, like we all know about Phillip Island, but where all the Ducatis was in trouble. But I guess that he makes the step to be a real top rider for the future.
Davide, one thing that completely blows my mind, I mean, we're all still so tired from those 3 back-to-back races, but the guys, they've been busy this week again. They've all been at the Milan Motorcycle Show. I mean, it is no stop for them. But did you have an opportunity to speak to him there and just really gauge where his head's at this weekend? Because I remember speaking to him at the start of Malaysia weekend, and he just seemed really level-headed, very calm. But by the end of Sunday's race, he was like, shocked.
Yeah. I mean,
where is he at?
Trust me, he's not nervous. He's really calm. He's conscious about that it will be very, very difficult, because one thing is to win the race, but the other thing is that Marquez has not to be on the top 11, and honestly, I don't think that it's gonna happen. But anyway, he's relaxed because now he's conscious about his talent, as I said before, and now he has no worries like he had before, because in the previous year he was always fighting against himself, trying to convince himself that he can beat those riders, and when he can't, he was there fighting for the podium. 3rd place was okay. Now it's not anymore. Something that
the game's changed.
He can accept.
Davide, like you say, trying to recover 21 points to a rider like Marc in the last race, it is going to be a very, very difficult job. But we all love to dream. It's 10 years since Ducati last won the Motogp World Championship with Casey Stoner back in 2007. What would it mean if you were able to achieve Mission Impossible maybe on Sunday afternoon here in Valencia?
I think that in Bologna the city will explode. It will be dangerous. If it's going to happen, it will be dangerous. But again, we know that there is really a small percent that is going to happen. But apart that, we will accept, because we know that Marc Marquez is a fantastic rider. That if he's going to win, he will deserve this championship. So for us is something that a result, a 2nd place that is ahead of our plane, and the most important thing is that we will be ready again next year with 2 riders to fight for the championship.
Well, Davide, we know that miracles can happen here in MotoGP. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope a miracle comes your way this weekend. As I feel a bit as though I was a bit biased there, but for both sides, we really want them to do well. We want both to win. We wish there were 2 world titles. But have the best weekend, and thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, Davide. Have a great weekend.
Well, Matt, that leaves us to have a little bit of a chat before we should be joined by Livio Suppo. But obviously, we're talking a lot here about Andrea Dovizioso and Marc Marquez, and if they win the race. But there's 2 other riders out there in the way of Dani Pedrosa and Jorge Lorenzo that also I wouldn't like to bet against taking the win here in Valencia.
The pair of them have got impeccable records here in Valencia. Dani Pedrosa, nobody's won more Grand Prix here than Dani. Nobody has won more times in the Premier class than Jorge Lorenzo. Let's not forget the last 2 years. In 2015, he had the gentleman's set, didn't he, Jorge Lorenzo? Pole position, the fastest lap of the race, and the race win to deny Valentino Rossi in that nail-biting conclusion to the championship in 2015. And he did the same again last year. What a farewell it was to Yamaha before he joined Ducati. Another full set, pole position, fastest lap, and the race win. So we know that Jorge Lorenzo of late has been coming into some really, really strong form on that Ducati. Ducati. He loves this circuit, and you can never discount Dani Pedrosa. Other names come into the mix. A man we're going to hear from in the press conference very shortly, Johann Zarco. What fireworks have been coming out of that Frenchman lately? I mean, he could well
really
be another spanner in the works. We know that Johann Zarco, he cares very little for reputations. He's not intimidated. He will get in there and get in the fight. So yeah, there's all kinds of other names. Valentino Rossi and Maverick Vinales, you can never ever discount them, despite the fact that they've had a pretty horrible run of late. But they will also be fighting in that race with on Sunday. So yeah, Mark and Andrea are not going to only have themselves to worry about and each other to worry about.
Exactly. Well, we are getting ready to be joined by our second guest. We will be talking very shortly to Livio Supo, who's just got the biggest static shock in the entire world. Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Did that get you started for the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, his atmosphere is electric.
Absolutely. Couldn't have put it better myself. Livio, this weekend, everyone is so excited. Well, firstly, congratulations for all that Mark has achieved this year. It's obviously going to be over to him out there on Sunday to see if he can get the big one. But at the start of the season, I think all eyes were on Yamaha and Maverick Vinales being your main title opponent. Did that change anything in terms of Honda's approach to this year's championship when all of a sudden it was a Ducati and it was Andrea Dovizioso that was his nearest title rival?
Well, not really, because, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who is the competitor. The important thing is to focus on yourself and try to do the best and try to fight for the win every race. Like Mick Doohan said, you know, you don't have to think about the championship. You have to think race by race, and the more race you win, the more chance you have to win the championship. So, honestly speaking, clearly this winter looks like Maverick and Yamaha were the stronger competitor, and then step by step find out that Dovi was the stronger one, but this really didn't change anything for us or Mark.
Livio, how does Mark approach this weekend? We love watching him because we know that Mark is full gas. He's all out attack every single lap of the race, but surely this weekend he will be thinking about the bigger picture, the prize of the championship. How do you expect him to approach it? I mean, from a mental side and going into the race strategy.
You know, I think Mark proved to be not only very fast, but also very intelligent. Yeah. And already last year he won a championship thinking a lot. And this season, if you think about last race, for sure he was trying to control his talent and finish, because he knew that a few points more wouldn't make sense comparing with the risk of losing a lot. So he's young, but he has a lot of experience, and I think he knows quite well how to manage the situation. It's not the first time, by the way, because in 2013 he was a rookie in this championship. The gap was much shorter. We knew that Jorge here is almost unbeatable, so he knew that the margin of mistake was much smaller. But I remember the night before he told myself and Nakamoto-san, tomorrow I will finish third. and this was what he did, because a fourth was enough, and he managed to finish third. And you know, then having said that, it's not easy, because it's never easy, but we will see.
Livio, you said it there. He's young. He's really young. He's going to be the youngest rider. If he wins the title this weekend, it will be his 6th world title, his 4th in the Premier class, and he becomes the youngest rider to do so. But he's so mature. I mean, does it still impress you? And I think because I'm of his age, I'm being a bit kind to myself here, 28. But it just really blows my mind at how mature he is off the track and on the track, as we've just discussed there.
Yeah, but that's honestly surprised me since the beginning, since we first signed the contract and the first season, how much he was mature, how much he was able to take advantage of the situation. And you know, that season he was able to win the title with, of course, there was the problem of Jorge and Dani, they both get injured. Still, he was able to not get, you know, too much excited and manage the championship in a very mature way. So he is like that since he was even younger.
Yeah, and just finally, I mean, we just heard from Davide Teodossi at Ducati saying that they know how strong Mark's going to be this weekend. What's been your feelings about the threat that Ducati have posed this year, and certainly from Andrea Dovizioso, because he's been a great adversary, a great rival for it. It's all been conducted in the best sportsmanship. They've had a very friendly and cordial rivalry. I mean, Andrea's had an amazing season. You
know, we know very well Andrea. Of course, Andrea has been also in the factory on the team, and last year we thought about him when there was the possibility that Dani was leaving. You remember, and you know, Dovi really deserved this season. I think he did a kind of mental click and find out that finally with the same machine he was able to beat Jorge, and then gave him a lot of boost, you know, because in the small classes he won a 125 title, then in 250 he bet him when they were both on a Honda, then Jorge went to the Aprilia, started winning titles, and he didn't. And when they moved in MotoGP, Jorge did it in the moment in which Yamaha was very strong, and he did win a satellite on the bike. And then, you know, at the end of the day, I think this season for him has been a kind of a confirmation of what he knew, but maybe years after year he started losing to believe that he was very, very strong. In reality, he is very strong, and I'm really happy to see him so competitive.
Well, Livio, thank you so much for sparing us a few minutes. I know it's bad luck in Italian to wish you best of luck. So have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you at some point later in the weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Great weekend, Livio.
Well, we're getting almost ready to head over to our press conference. But we've heard it there from both sides. It's going to be an amazing weekend, no matter what the outcome is. We've got a few additionals to the MotoGP grid also this weekend. Wildcard riders in for KTM, Mika Kallio, and also Ducati's wildcard rider, Kaylee Pero. And also Michael van der Mark is in replacing Jonas Folger again, but there's been a little bit of an update on the condition of Jonas Folger, I believe.
Yeah, Jonas has been undergoing, as we know, a series of tests back in Germany. It seems like he's got some kind of liver issue, and also some quite serious problem with his throat.
From the crash in Aragon.
The crash in Aragon, yeah. So Jonas, thankfully, it sounds like it's nothing too serious. They know what they've got to do now moving forward to treat him. Yeah. And fingers crossed. I mean, it's been a horrible way to end what was such a great rookie season for Jonas. We hope that he is back on that Tech 3 Yamaha wise, certainly in January in Malaysia, because the team needs him, and the sport needs a German rider doing well at the top of the championship as well.
They really do indeed. There's also, aside from the racing, aside from the final race of 2017, there's so much going on here this weekend. If you're free tomorrow evening, do join us, because we have the final showdown of our very first, the inaugural MotoGP eSport Championship. We have our 16 finalists. They're with us all weekend long, and it's going to be a fantastic event. You can check out esport.com.motogp to find out where you can watch that, but it's available on most of the local broadcasters, MotoGP.com, or on YouTube, Facebook, but more information on the website on that.
It's the only time I think I'll ever see a 16-year-old or a 44-year-old lap quicker than Marc Marquez around Valencia.
The funny thing is, everyone's after this fantastic, like incredible BMW M240i Coupe, and some of them are not even old enough to drive it. I was asking someone today, I was like, well, who's going to get to have that for the next 2 years? And they're like, well, my dad.
Well, I'll happily take the keys.
I was going to say, I might volunteer myself. But anyway, we are heading over now to the press conference, where we shall be joining Nick Harris for his final Thursday press conference as well. But from both myself and Matt here, have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy Valencia.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome. It's the final round of the MotoGP World Championship. After 18 rounds, well, 17 rounds, this is the 18th. The championship still to be decided.
Pronto. Sorry, Nick. Before you start, we have a surprise for you, because it's your last Grand Prix, so you have to come with us.
This is what it's like, is it?
Pronto. Yeah, allora, dai. Ready, go. Look here. You look there.
MotoGP World Championship, 18 rounds throughout the world, is about to start here. Sit back and enjoy. Here we go, it's underway. Let battle come ahead side by side. Here comes Vinales up the inside. Marc Marquez leads the way. Here comes Rossi up the inside. Will it count? Here he comes. Absolutely masterclass.
Let battle
battle commence.
Let the battle commence.
Round 2 is underway.
Round 18 is underway.
Fantastic start by Jorge Lorenzo.
That's a classic overtaking maneuver.
Oh, classic maneuver.
Classic overtaking maneuver.
Viñales is absolutely flying.
What a motorcycle race! What a Grand Prix!
Has been a great pleasure to have the possibility to work together. You are one of the most important parts of this championship.
It's been a fun road together, you know, from a beer, let's say, in his local pub to Motogp. And yeah, been amazing to be a part of it.
We'll miss you dearly. You've taught me everything I know, which isn't much, I know that, but it's been an absolute pleasure.
I think the thing about Nick is he's done everything, and he's done them all brilliantly.
Can't believe that this has happened. It's unbelievable.
Oh, unbelievable.
Sitting alongside me, Matt Bird, down in pit lane, it's Dylan Gray.
Down to Dylan.
Bautista on the brakes.
On the brakes.
On the brakes.
Is that familiar number 9?
Familiar, number 9.
Comes Zarco up the inside.
Zarco up the inside.
Absolutely breathtaking.
Absolutely breathtaking.
We're going to miss you a lot, but I'm sure you're going to visit us many times. Hopefully you will come to the hospitality. We'll be trying to make you a proper English tea.
I hope you have a fantastic retirement with Sheila, that you get to see a few places in the world, not just inside a paddock.
Nick, thank you very much for teaching us how to produce motorsports, how to comment MotoGP. You are leaving here a huge legacy. Your passion, your enthusiasm to comment, to do your work in MotoGP. Thank you, Nick, forever.
We've had a lot of fun times over the years. You've helped me out in certain areas, so I really look forward to catching up with you somewhere, sometime.
Grand Prix motorcycle racing was the most important part of their life at the time, but they also had lots more to their life. They wanted to have good fun.
We ride with Aleix Espargaro.
We ride with Aleix Espargaro.
Side by side they come.
Side by side they come.
Salute the doctor, the master.
Salute the master. Salute the doctor. Salute Valentino Rossi.
Master class by Danny Pedrosa.
Masterclass by Danny Pedrosa. What a race!
What a race!
What a race!
Never say never in MotoGP.
Never say never in MotoGP.
This is MotoGP.
This is MotoGP.
This is Motogp. Thank you, Nick.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start in just a couple of seconds, so if everybody could take their seats, please, and settle down a little bit. Thank you. Mark, thank you very much indeed. Dovi, thank you very much indeed. Maverick, thank you very much indeed. Valentino, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Absolutely incredible.
That's enough from me, ladies and gentlemen. Questions from the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Question from the floor. We talk about legends in this paddock. He's definitely one of the legends in terms of the voice. God bless you, and say hi to the family.
Ciao, Nick. It was a great pleasure to share all this time together. We have a good moment. We laugh a lot. So, for sure, we will miss you.
If he has any problems being retired, give me a call because I'll tell him how to do it.
This is MotoGP, and it's the best in the world.
We have to go back now. We have to do the press conference now. No questions from the floor, please. Definitely no social media questions. Right. Oh, cheers. Right, do I have to do the press conference now? Thank you all very much indeed. And good night. As I say, may I assure you, I'm going to miss you all a lot more than you're going to miss me. And yeah, you've been wonderful. Right, here we go. We've got a World Championship to decide, which is far, far more important than what we've just seen. So, in the press conference today, Marc Marquez, of course, first in the World Championship, 6 wins riding the Repsol Honda, 21-point advantage. a Moto2 and a MotoGP winner here, and second here for the last 2 years. The only man that can beat him in the championship to his left, Andrea Dovizioso, riding the factory Ducati. Second in the championship, 6 wins, 21 points behind. A second place in the 125cc race here, the year he won that 125cc world title, and third in MotoGP in 2011. To the left of Mark, Valentino Rossi, riding that Movistar Yamaha, fourth in the World Championship, 1 win this season in Assen, 2 MotoGP wins here at the Riccardo Tormo circuit. The far end, Johan Zarco riding that monster Tech 3 Yamaha, 6th in the World Championship. The top independent rider has already been crowned, and also the Rookie of the Year, 3rd in the last round in Sepang, and the Moto2 winner here last year. And, of course, we've got Danny Pedrosa, 5th in the World Championship. Danny riding the Repsol Honda, and he is the only rider to have won 125, 250 and MotoGP races at this circuit. And completing the lineup today, Jorge Lorenzo on the factory Ducati, 7th in the World Championship, 3 podiums, 2nd, of course, in Sepang. 4 MotoGP wins here, and he's won here for the last 2 years. So that's the lineup. Obviously, we're going to start with Mark. This is it, Mark. This is the race that will decide the championship.
Yeah, of course, it was a tough season, but anyway, one race decides everything. We will see. We will try to approach the weekend on the same way, like always. Try to do my 100% in the practice, but of course you feel like it's a special race. Will be a special Sunday, but anyway, we will try to enjoy the party at 2 o'clock because it will be a really nice race in front of my fans in a circuit that I like it. But keep same mentality like always, because in motorsport, in sport general, everything can happen. So that means that we will try to be on the same level, and of course try to finish the race will be the most important.
The situation, how difficult is it? It's a 21-point advantage. It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Of course it's tricky because I was in my town, tried to relax, but everybody that you meet, this is easy, it's done. But it's not like this. I mean, it's something difficult. Of course, I prefer to be in my position than Dobby because I'm 21 points in front. But anyway, just this create to me like something good feeling. But anyway, that kind of energy that you need, and of course, it's not the first time that I fight for the championship here in Valencia. Already 2010, but especially 2013 was very difficult. I managed well, so we will try to manage. Looks like the weather is good, stable during all weekend. This is one thing very important, and about the rest, try to do our 100%, and then on Sunday we will see where is my level, where is Dobby's level, and try to find the best position and the best result for me.
Just finally, can you ride in that more careful way? I suppose you may say you did do in Sepang, but it's not really Marc Marquez, is it?
Of course, it's difficult, but it's not my way to ride. I mean, during the weekend, I will push like always. I will try to do our 100%, but then Sunday after warm-up, we will see where we are, where is Dobby, where is the level of the other riders, and then we will decide. But anyway, I will not go out and, okay, 10th place is okay, or 11 or 9. I mean, I will go out and just try to find the feeling with the bike, try to give my 100%, and try to enjoy the race. This will be the most important.
Mark, thank you. To your left, of course, Andrea Dovizioso on the factory Ducati. Well, again, this is it, but when we sat down in Qatar at the start of the season, would you have believed you would be in this situation?
No, for sure. Especially the people watching the race didn't expect that this. So that's why I'm so happy and so proud to make what we did this championship, because we start with a good position, in a good position the first round, but after we struggled a little bit. But from Mugello, we become very competitive. So with some up and down, but we was able to arrive in the last round and fight still for the championship. So really, really happy about that. Really happy about the work we did during the season, because we understood a few things and it worked during the race. So really happy, and we will see. 21 points is a lot. It's very difficult, but still is open. So we have to be focused in our side. I mean, we can only win the race. I know it will be difficult because there is a lot of fast ride, especially in this track. But I think we have a good speed now, and we have to be focused from the first practice to try to create a good speed for the race. And let's see what we can do in the race. But we have just one strategy: try to win the race and wait what Mark can do. But I don't feel a lot of pressure because I'm so happy about this season, because I know very well what we did. I know very well the positive and negative things from our bike. So I'm so happy about the result we did until now.
And Valencia for you, not a great record, and also for Ducati, it's not been easy. But I think, as you so rightly say, this season has turned it all round, isn't it?
Yes, for Ducati there was up and down in this track. For me, in the past I struggled a lot, but I think last year in the practice our speed it wasn't too bad. Just in the race I didn't feel so good, and this year I believe we will be more competitive. But like always, we have to put the wheels on the ground to understand the tires and the bike this year, because the bike is different compared to last year. I expect to be competitive. If it will be enough to fight for the victory, I don't know.
Dovi, thank you. So Mark and Dovi, good luck on Sunday. Come on to, of course, Valentino Rossi, 4th in the World Championship. Up and down season, injuries, wins, some good results, some difficult results. It's not been easy, is it?
No, difficult season. Like you said, some good races, but also a lot of difficult weekend. We're struggling a lot, and sincerely, at this moment, we don't understand very well the way to fix. But in the last two races, in Phillip Island and also in Sepang, on the dry, I was quite strong, and I feel quite good with the bike. So we see. Usually Valencia is always a difficult track. It's very tricky. But the forecast said that is positive for the weekend. This is very important because on the wet we're struggling very much. So we have to wait and try to understand the right way.
Would you offer any advice, if you could, to first Mark, who's got the big lead? You've been in that situation, and Dovi, who's doing the chasing.
You know, the situation is quite clear because you cannot do a lot of calculation because the difference in the point is quite big, no? So Dovi have just one way, try to win, and Mark can control, but you know, you have to see, especially wait for Sunday, understand your level, and see what's happened.
And just finally, Vale, the future. You've obviously next season you will continue racing, and when will you make a decision about your future?
Yeah, you know, I think after the first part of after some races next year, because at the end of the next season the contract finish. I have to see my speed, if we are competitive, we are able to make good work with the bike, and after some races we can speak with Yamaha and decide if continue or not.
Ali, thank you very much indeed. We come into Valentino's right, of course, Danny Pedrosa riding the Repsol Honda. Amazing record here, Danny, coming into the last round, and yeah, the best record of anybody.
Yes, it's a track I like, and you know, always here with the support of the fans makes it even more special. And for sure, it's the last race, and it's always good to finish strong. Last year, for example, was not positive. I came from an injury, and I couldn't really do a good weekend. But I hope this time we can start in better position, because like they said, the weather looks like more stable than in the last races, where it was quite difficult to manage all the situations. But if it's stable, it's going to be helpful for the practice, so you can go more in the rhythm and try more things on the bike.
And rather like Vale, this season for you, you've had the wins, you've had the crashes, you've had the ups and downs, haven't you?
Yes, I did some things better than last year, but some things worse. So a little bit up and down, and not able to find the good stability during all the situations. So it was a little bit changing by parts of the championship, but like in the last races were not really good. So that's why aiming to start tomorrow with good feeling on the bike.
And the future for you, another season on your contract with Honda. Have you thought beyond that, or rather like Vale, see how that first part goes?
For sure, always the main goal for me is try to improve and to be better where the points I wasn't. So that's the thinking I have for this winter. Not more far than that, and starting the testing with the bike and willing to make things better than this year.
Danny, thank you very much. We come to the far end, ladies and gentlemen, because Johan Zarco riding that monster Tech 3 Yamaha. Well, we're talking about up and down seasons, and people have good seasons, but you've had an amazing season, haven't you? And I think you've loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I enjoy a lot. I got better than what I expect, and I'm so happy about that, because I'm thinking sometimes why you are racing, and in the end you race to win races. So this year has been a good way to improve and give me this hoping, you know, like when I started in the race in Malaysia, I could think about the win, and it was not like a crazy target, because it was almost there. And then again, also in Australia, it was not so far. So I'm happy that I improve a lot this feeling, and I'm able, after a nice Friday and a nice Saturday, to say it. Why not fight for a victory? So I hope I can do it again this weekend, have this potential, and then repeat it again and again for the next year.
Good record here at Valencia. Obviously last year, lap record, everything else, pole position and the win. Do you really think you can win here? You certainly said so in Sepang in Australia, and you were mighty close.
Let's see. I need to see after 1 year experience, because I test the bike here for first time, and was so many new things, and almost a little bit scary, because it was almost no limit on the bike and so much power. Now I can control well, and I got some problem in Valencia in the past, but last year when I did the pole position, I was not the strongest on the track, and I used a different strategy for the race, that I had to fight a lot, and after half race I got the advantage. So with the experience, I was able to calculate a little bit the race. For this year, I come really neutral, like neutral guy, see what I can do on Friday and Saturday, and let's see if I'm fighting in the first position for the first row. I will see. I would like, yes, to have these possibilities, and there is Marc and Dovi that they have some pressure. They need to. I mean, Dovi needs to win, but Marc needs to maybe control a little bit more, and I think this can give an opportunity to have a podium.
Johan, thank you very much indeed. Come to the far end, ladies and gentlemen. Jorge Lorenzo. Well, we talk about people with good records here, Jorge. You've got a fantastic record here. You come fresh from second place in Sepang, and it's been a difficult year, but the results are coming, aren't they?
Yeah, I really have good memories in this track, especially in Motogp. I wasn't really competitive in the previous classes, but in Motogp I started winning in 2010, 2013, 15, and last year. So has been one of my better tracks. Unfortunately for the bike, could be one of the best. No, they have some struggle in the past. Even if Casey have some victories here, it's a track that is very slow and have some narrow corners that for sure doesn't help our bike. But I think our bike improved quite a bit in this area. Now I feel every time better and better with the bike, more comfortable. I think in Sepang we understood certain things that maybe here also help us a little bit. So we are fully motivated for this race. So we hope to compensate what we need from the bike with another aspects, no?
And if you have to, final round, championship the way it is, will you help Dovi?
Yeah, of course. I say that from the middle of the championship because the journalists start asking me this very, very soon. And I said at the beginning, I said that was still too soon to this, but of course now it's not too soon. It's very difficult that I can do something because, you know, situation is much better for Mark and it's not so simple for Dovi. But obviously, I will have to check. If I am in the position of fighting for the victory on the top positions, I will have to check the board and my dashboard. I think I understand the importance of the world title, but I repeat, it's very difficult that I can do something.
Jorge, thank you very much indeed. Okay, Steve Day's here for social media questions in a minute, but now it's you're going to laugh, aren't you? Questions from the floor.
Carlos Perez from Movistar MotoGP. A question for all riders. Overall the season, which mark do you put from 0 to 10? More on the results of the championship, your feelings, what has happened during the races, from 0 to 10.
After the race, I will say. I mean, of course, first part of the championship 6, but then second part 9. So, but all depends about this Sunday. I mean, can finish like a 10 or can finish like a 5. La nota. Dal 0 al 10.
About riders, team riders. Rider. Myself. 9.5.
Depends very much from the result. I say 7.
Yeah, it's difficult to judge. Some races were quite good, some other not. So I think at the end it's around 7, 6, 5, 7.
And like if Lantino says 7, I need to say 7.5 because I was rookie and I could fight a lot. So yeah, why not 7.5?
So I think the first part of the season maybe 6, and the second part I would say 8. So the medium is 7, like probably my position at the end of the race.
Hi. Hi. Question for Valentino and Zarco. How much more careful will you have to be during the race on Sunday and thinking about the competitors in the championship?
Well, I think that we are completely out. So for me personally, I have to try to do my race, try to do the best, like in another race.
Yeah, it's totally true. We are like not a Ducati rider that can help Dovi or opposite for Honda. We are really Yamaha riders, and we must bring Yamaha the best result as possible for, first of all, for ourselves, but then for the brand.
Valentino, over the season, you and Yamaha have tried many different chassis, but on Tuesday at the test, you can try a new engine, a different engine. Do you think that will make much difference to the problems you've been having?
No, but you know, is on the program. I mean, the engine was ready, and we start to work. In the chassis, we have more problems, so is still not ready. And I think that we can have something new for February. So now we try to understand if the engine can be a little bit better. That is always a help, but our problem is more the chassis.
Hi, Mark. Mark, in your first MotoGP title here in 2013, you celebrate with the Spanish flag. In the next two MotoGP titles, you celebrate with the fan club flag. I want to ask you in this political moment, have you already decided which flag you will show? And do you think this will be controversial?
If I win on Sunday, we will see. But in the end, the flag that la bandera que representa mi gente es el 93, para que se entienda. Si no.
I have a question for Valentino. Valentino, Maverick earlier on said during his debrief that maybe the test on Tuesday and Wednesday was even more important than the race on Sunday. Would you agree with that?
No, I mean, for me it's more important the race. Is a question of time. Before the race and after, for sure, I agree with Maverick. Is important. Is important for us. Is important. Tuesday and Wednesday will be important in 10 days in Sepang. Will be important in February because we have to fix some problems. So the winter season for us will be more important than for Honda and Ducati.
Okay, it's social media time with Stephen Day.
Thanks, Nick. Okay, we will start social media questions with a question for Johan. This question is from Seb VB on Instagram. What are you most proud of, the Moto2 titles that you've won or the MotoGP Rookie of the Year?
No, I'm most proud about the world title. It's a better emotion because you are really the first and the best rider of the season, and that's the main thing.
Thanks, Johan. Next question is for Jorge. This is from James Lim on Instagram. James is referring to your smooth as butter and hard riding the hammer logos. Are you able to apply the hammer and the butter riding style to the Ducati? If not, what new riding styles will you adopt, and what are your names for them?
Well, when you see me on the TV, it's difficult to appreciate the difference of riding style that I am using in the Ducati compared with the one I use in the Yamaha. But inside, well, on the bike, I feel a lot of difference by myself. I'm using a lot the rear brake, for example. I'm sliding much more. The sliding you can actually look that is much different from the Yamaha. The Yamaha was much more stable on braking. But apart from that, the núcleo, I don't know in English, the general riding style remain the same because everyone have their own, and it's impossible to change that.
Thanks, Jorge. Next question is for Valentino. This is from Quentin Blanchett on Instagram. Do you think that Franco Morbidelli will be as competitive as Johan has been this year in MotoGP next year?
I hope no. A little bit less, if it's possible. No, Johan this year did something very great because he was very, very strong, more or less everywhere. I'm very optimistic about Franco because he's arrived in MotoGP in a good moment. I mean, he's quite ready for ride this bike at the limit. So I think that next year can be competitive. Yes.
Thanks, Valentino. Next question is for Danny. This is from Marge on Twitter. What are you most looking forward to in the off season?
For sure, in the off season, I like to go for a windsurfing trip. I'm really looking for, because during the season I cannot take the time and change the program. So it's one of the things I like to do when I'm relaxed. And obviously, apart from training and all these things and events, but as a personal thing, windsurfing with a trip with friends to do some jumps and some waves. So it's nice.
Thanks, Danny. Okay, to the two fighting for the championship then, and Dovi first. This question is from Siti Hashimar Mod Hanif on Instagram, talking about diet for MotoGP riders. Traveling around the world for your job, do you have a favorite food from a particular country, or do you just stick to Italian food for each round?
No, at the beginning, I mean, I'm Italian, and it was quite difficult to eat different things than Italian style. But now I really enjoy to eat everything I can find in every country. I really love Asian. I mean, you can eat if you know where you have to go. You can eat good things in all the world. So, I mean, the Italian style I prefer, but I really like when we go into Asia to eat that stuff.
Thanks, Dovi. Finally, on to Mark. This question is from Paul on Facebook. You have broken a lot of records in your career. Is there a particular record that you have your eye on to beat before you one day retire?
No, because all the records that I beat, I didn't know that exist, or I didn't know who have. So I don't want to concentrate in any record. I mean, I want to enjoy it every year. I want to fight for the title every year and keep this mentality and motivation every year.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
There we go. Now I think Ignacio is just going to make a presentation of the Racing Together book. Don't forget the presentation this evening, everybody, of the book and, of course, of the film to commemorate Dorna's 25 years working with the FIM, with IRTA and the MMSA. So there is the book. So if we'd like to stand for the photograph, everybody, and good luck to everybody over the weekend. Thank you. And thank you for the film. Thank you.